Hello and welcome to The Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film or series based on the demands or stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. As professional screenwriters ourselves and massive cinephiles, we talk movies all the time. And we'd like to believe we could meet any demand thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TC DeWitt, and joining me, as always, is Jim... Cult member Brzelic.
Cult member Brzelic. That's fine. I'm in. Oh. Ooh.
Oh, what is happening right now?
The mics are feeding through speaker.
Oh, I'm hearing our own voices back at us. Oh, okay. Cult leader? No, cult member.
I'll be both. The leader is a member.
That's very good of you to, like, in your cult that you would, like, a member. A leader is a member too.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. We were discussing surviving the
Maybe that's the wrong way to think. Maybe that's manager think. That's not actually leader think.
Well, that's my question to you. We were discussing surviving the apocalypse. Do you see yourself aligning with any culty-like behavior? If we went back to Mad Max, which we were discussing,
right, like the War Boys.
The War Boys.
I am afraid. I'm actually very afraid that I would be one of the people that has like half a 2-liter bottle and just waits for Immortan Joe to release the water.
Oh,
and like I live underground. Like I'm terrified that I'd be one of those.
I love the guitar player. Yay! Witness me. Yay! Yeah, because we had discussed also that the worst people tend to like the band of gangs.
They get to be in charge, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I want to believe that I would be good enough to, like, you know, band together like Rick Grimes style, and or like John Krasinski, like keep the family together, keep them safe, and then just be afraid of the assholes out there with the guns who are marauding and stealing and. Back in high school, I did like psychology, sociology class, and there was a study shown on sports teams of which sports teams can survive disasters the best, and like football and basketball, like they would fall apart fast, but like gymnastics and track and field, cross country, when obviously why I was like, tended to be more able to survive, because track, cross country, gymnastics are individual athletes on a team. So they are competing as individuals and as a team. Whereas like basketball players, football players, like more of those, like, I'm the team captain, you all fall in line, tend to crumble faster under their leadership, as opposed to the communal nature of surviving as like gymnasts. And
sounds like a track person ran that study.
I think probably, yes. Because I'm sure a baseball team would survive just fine. They have all those bats. I've seen the Warriors.
They high five more than any other team.
And they're slapping
They
each other.
invented it.
They did they invent
baseball?
Baseball?
Yes. And not even that long ago, the 70s.
Really?
Like the mid or late 70s.
Go on.
I'm forgetting the details.
You know what?
Vamp.
You can be in my cult with this type of information. You're the storyteller. Like,
I'm the history man.
You're the old man. You're the old man from Furiosa. Get in here, Jim. Tell us about high fives. No. You're William H. Macy.
Specifically,
You're William H. Macy from Planet of the Apes. I'm keeping you around because I like your info.
Wikipedia. Straight to Wikipedia.
Ooh, Wikipedia.
Where is it? Origin.
I'm done vamping.
The gesture might have originated. It did. Originated in American professional sports. That doesn't help. Glenn Burke and Dusty Baker. For decades, the conventional wisdom has been that the origin of the high five occurred between Dusty Baker and Glenn Burke of the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium on October 2nd, 1977, the last day of the regular season. In the sixth inning, Dusty Baker hit a home run off Houston Astros pitcher J.R. Richard. It was Baker's 30th home run, making the Dodgers the first team in history to have 4 hitters with at least 30 home runs each in a single season.
Pre-HGH, folks. They did that all natural.
Human growth hormone, yeah.
It's my fault.
It was wild, triumphant moment, and a good omen as the Dodgers headed to the playoffs. Burke, waiting on deck, thrust his hand enthusiastically over his head to greet his friend at the plate. Baker, not knowing what to do, smacked it. His hand was up in the air, and he was arching way back, says Baker. So I reached up and hit his hand. It seemed like a thing to do. So that is the purported origin. Another origin story, first reported in 1980, places it at the University of Louisville Cardinals.
Sorry, Louisville.
Basketball practice.
No, the baseball team did it way before you, at least a decade.
Went to give a low five to his teammate, but suddenly Smith looked Brown in the eye and said no, up high. Brown thought, yeah, why are we staying down low? We jump so high. Raised his hand, and the high five was supposedly born.
That's on Wikipedia?
Yep.
With the dialogue and everything?
Yep.
Get out of here.
High fives can be seen in highlight reels from the 78-79 Louisville team.
Sorry, Louisville. It's Louisville. Dun, dun, dun.
Magic Johnson claims he invented the high five. He provides no date or location for invention, only that it was a thing that he and teammate Greg Kelser did on occasion while playing for Michigan State. He did not give it a name and asserts that Baker and Burke did not invent the high five.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's name is Magic.
Okay. People who are named Magic are not reliable.
They're not. Yeah. Name one Magic you can trust. Magic is built on deception, Jim. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair, actually.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the history.
It continues.
I don't want to keep reading.
There are apocryphal anecdotes.
Well, one thing you definitely can't do in the apocalypse, especially if you need to maintain volume control, is high fives.
Disagree.
That
will be the name of my gang.
Oh.
The High Fives.
The High Fives.
And we will be feared everywhere.
Fear us. Is that a slow clap? No, it's the high fivers. We gotta go. They're so happy and proud of themselves. All right. Well, come on. Let's move along here, Jim. Okay, it's time to get to the demand. Our amazing listeners have given us demands from studios literally all over the world, and you listening right now, you can send us any demand you'd like, and we will have to meet it right here on the spot. And when we reach the end of the episode, if we've done our job, we will have pitched a full script and story, meeting or even exceeding those demands. And when the end of the season comes, your demand could have helped us craft the script that will be greenlit by the fans for the finale. Thank you, everyone who keeps submitting, and keep them coming. Thank you so much. But today's demand comes from, all right, here we go. Ashley from Studios.
Nice.
After the success of A Quiet Place, the studio clearly demanded a sequel, which then did well enough. The studio demanded another, with rumors of the next being a prequel. Ashley, you are correct. The next one is a prequel. You were correct. Assuming that the demands were, make more of these, tie it into the existing ones, but we can't afford Emily Blunt or Cillian Murphy for this one, how would you two write a third movie, especially given how part 2 ends? Prequels are hard, so it's not necessary for it to be a prequel. My studio demands your entry into the Quiet Place franchise. Thanks for taking my demand, guys. Love the show. Thank you, Ashley. And I really like your studio name. Goddammit, Studios. There we go. So, pretty good, pretty broad demand here.
Yep.
We can insert our own Quiet Place film somewhere into the franchise.
Yeah.
We do know that A Quiet Place Day 1's coming out soon, so yes, it is going to be a sequel. In fact, this will be released in and around the days that this movie's out. So we will have more information very soon.
Yeah.
but that doesn't apply
Yeah, we
now.
will.
So we can only work with Quiet Place and Quiet Place Part 2, which in preparation for this, knowing we were going to do some sort of Quiet Place demand, we rewatched those two, so they're fresh in our head. I'm glad this isn't something insane because that's always the gamble. A Quiet Place movie, Jim. What do you think?
Nah.
Nah? Okay, cool. Well, thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, no. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Please.
So Ashley, make a good point. The way that this part 2 ends, it's very clear they have a good understanding on how to beat these things.
Yep.
So one direction to go would be explore that further. Go on the offensive instead of the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the right way to go. Parallel sequels, sideways sequels, somewhere else in the world at the same time within the 500 days that we've seen.
That's more the direction I would choose to go. I wouldn't go prequel.
Yeah. I wouldn't go.
I totally like right. I feel like this demand came in before trailers and stuff had started for this third one. But knowing what they're doing, it all makes sense, right? Like, hey, what happens to the people of New York?
Hey, forget about them. You won't.
Right. So it's a New York movie.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be kicking the table.
That's all right.
It's a New York movie, and we're going to get to see the spectacle of this happening to lots of people.
Yeah.
Cities are notoriously loud,
mm-hmm.
even when they're being quiet.
And we got a glimpse of what that would look like in rural America in the opening of part 2,
mm-hmm.
which those kids don't look any different to me. They look younger.
Mm-hmm.
They totally do. Yeah. So we got a glimpse of what the first attack of this was.
So,
and that's what day 1 is going to be.
If we were to ignore that, that's what I would do. I don't know if I'd do New York. I would want to explore this phenomenon
mm-hmm.
in a cityscape. It would be my first notion.
Sure, but not New York, because that seems to be what we're going to get.
Yeah. My inclination also isn't normally New York. I avoid having a chip on my shoulder. I don't really have a chip on my shoulder. I just don't know enough about New York. I haven't been there. So I only understand it through film and television.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that is true enough to then write it. It probably is.
No. Take into consideration what does LA look like through film and television, and what it's like actually being here.
Sure.
Right. So New York is definitely fictionalized through the lens. I've been there a couple times, and yeah, it's different. Like the way movies and TVs always present New York as the greatest city in the world,
mm-hmm.
right? And then aliens always attack here. It's why District 9 is so great, because the aliens land over Johannesburg, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, what do we chop liver over here? Well, aliens always come after us. What are you doing down there in South Africa? This is bullshit. Right. You know in District 9 there were New Yorkers complaining. Should have been us. I'm saying should have been. I would allow if it was maybe LA, but it should be us.
Yeah. So the other reason New York will be interesting,
mm-hmm.
but right, 2 taught us the things we learned from 2. They can't swim.
Mm-hmm.
New York is an island,
mm-hmm.
so they can always isolate that, a la Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So my inclination would be to put it somewhere else, somewhere landlocked.
Okay. Chicago. I mean, Chicago's not landlocked. Obviously, Lake Michigan's right there, but not an island.
But something like that.
Denver. Up in the
sure.
mountains.
But all of that aside, we don't have to do a city either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of talking to talk here.
Yeah, let's actually. I said Denver, and that something springs to mind there. We've seen 2 of these movies. We've seen the previews for the third. They all seem to be taking place around the same season. Switching it up and having a winter Quiet Place.
Sure.
The crunch of snow. Like, think of how muted the world is coming from the Midwest. when the cloud cover is low and the
Oh,
snow
and
is falling.
you can
it's
hear so much further.
Yeah.
How much further could these things hear?
Yeah. In the muted world of winter, like it can be peaceful, it can be beautiful. That first soft snowfall in winter when
Mm-hmm.
you get the orange glow of the city being captured by the clouds and the snow.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also something unsettling about how quiet it gets in the winter. So
Sure.
I said Denver just to pick a city that's landlocked in a big city. Alaska,
Honestly, okay. I was going to go Canada, but
Vancouver,
Alaska also works.
Toronto. Like Toronto is big city, Vancouver's
Sure.
big city.
Oh no,
But
I was gonna, I was maybe this would end up mirroring the first one too much, but I was gonna put it on a lake
okay.
because I kind of have an idea of how it's gonna end.
Oh wow, you've already got an ending in mind.
Yeah.
Don't lose it. We'll
Okay.
get there.
Yeah.
I something that I had mentioned in the commentary is the sound of these movies and the lack of sound. The sound design
Mm-hmm.
of A Quiet Place is a character unto itself. The way the story is told in those two films through sound and lack of sound is so cool.
Or that could be cool. Denver wouldn't be a terrible. Okay, I'm just gonna say the ending. I'm gonna
You
say
can
it
go
first.
straight to the ending.
Yeah.
All right.
We're
hold on.
we're not telling a story here. We're
Yeah.
crafting one. So
Sure.
if we put an ending out there, then we
Okay.
can build to that ending.
Hold your thought. I'll finish mine. That the sound design being so critical for why these movies are so cool. I think the crunch of snow and that the way the world sounds in
Mm-hmm.
winter could be some fun haunting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my
Absolutely.
I'm
I agree.
pitching
I agree.
snow here. Okay.
Yeah. I'm in.
Yes. All right.
My first inclination was it takes place on a lake,
Mm-hmm.
like a bunch of houses around a lake or something like that. We get to see and deal with. Now, granted, I'm approaching this much more from a simulationist thing. I don't have a story yet, any sort of metaphor that we're going to explore, because these movies are beautiful. They explored the notion of grief and loss and isolation
Mm-hmm.
from each other in grief and loss.
Yeah.
In the form of monsters.
Mm-hmm. The things we can't find a way to speak to each other about the things we must speak to each other about. The world is literally stopping us from communicating
Yeah.
about the most important things. Like, I blame myself for the death of this child.
Mhm.
I blame myself. We can't talk about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, great metaphor.
And I thought you blamed me, and all that wonderful. I'm not doing that. Just doing a big old monster movie.
We'll figure it out after.
Yeah. But fun things to explore with that is, because it's so cold, places like that need heat. Honestly, the A Quiet Place, they're in New York, right? They're in upstate New York. They would have needed heat,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't see
We
their
didn't see
their
the winter.
winters.
Yeah.
But we get to sort of explore that. Actually, now that I think about it, we did see logs stacked in their space. So when and how did they split those logs? Anyway,
very
but either
quietly.
way, we would get to explore that, right? The notion of chopping wood or sawing wood
Mm-hmm.
is going to be hurt, especially in winter, if you have to do it in winter.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that our characters already have.
Oh.
So then instead they lose them, and now they're going to have to do something about that.
Could there be a beaver dam somewhere, like right near the lake, that like the river or whatever that
Sure.
that feeds the lake? There could be a beaver dam there,
Okay.
and therefore there's already cut logs. You can collect broken up wood from a beaver's dam, and then now you have like firewood.
Is that something they cut their wood?
Well, just think of like
beavers chew the wood to
beavers have to
fireplace size.
Yes, I'm just thinking of how dams are built. They have to they break the wood down to like build their dams, and I've just given you a cool location.
So we're gonna steal the wood from the beavers.
Yeah, well, the beavers are definitely dead, just like those raccoons.
Beavers don't make sounds. You're right. They do make that sound as they chew.
Do I smell wood? Nah, that's a woodchuck. I failed. Fine. Cutting the wood. Yes, you're right. That's how tense.
It's fine. A beaver. We could do a beaver dam. It's fine. That's just one aspect. Ultimately, the ending that I was thinking of getting to would be our survivors somehow they figure out the drowning thing.
That these things can't
That
swim.
the things that can't swim. And one of the problems they've had is the lake is frozen. So they have to get out there either with an auger or with ice axes or something. And so the monster or monsters, the full tension is they have to somehow chop the ice up enough that it will fall through when it comes out onto the lake to get them.
So that last moment of like chop, 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 like there's like 3 or 4 characters who are just cranking at the ice around them, like we're gonna fall in too, like whatever we need to, and then the
something like that,
and they're like running towards them across the ice. Yeah, that's a good ticking clock.
But, or maybe you can think of a way to do both of these. The other thing that came to mind, another way, it wouldn't kill them because they are very tough. So maybe there's a mid movie thing they have to deal with. A way that they waylay the monsters long enough for them to get away. They cause an avalanche.
Okay.
Just thinking about winter and snow and things involving sound.
Oh yeah.
Right? So they then, like, literally the monster's making its way. Actually, they're pretty loud. Maybe they cause the avalanche.
Having the ice sequence be near like the finale of the movie, right? Having our survivors. We'll figure out who these characters are, but like imagining the fleeing out onto the ice and having no choice. But and since they do a great call and response in both these movies, beginning of the movie having them ice fishing, having someone slip, like the ice crack underneath them. It's like it's getting warm. The winter, it's a warmer winter than previous. The ice isn't as thick. Like just setting up early the breaking of the ice and whatnot.
Sure.
So then all the way at the end of the movie, it's like, what are we gonna do? We're stuck here on the lake. Start chopping, and just as the 2 or 3 of them are running across the ice and getting, they're just chop, 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 so that sequence can play out, and seemingly like we've defeated them, and perhaps one, if say there's 3 running at or 4 running at, taking out 2 of them, and that third one stops short, just intelligent enough not to proceed through the broken ice, and now you have one final one to kill with an avalanche. Or maybe there's, I think the avalanche is a great idea. I think that's like like if the ice sequence seems like it's going to be the end, but then escalate it from there. Like, sorry, the ideas are coming fast. If they break the ice, break, and the 3 that they're going to defeat are defeated, but the ice. Have you ever heard what ice sounds like when it like truly cracks?
It sounds like laser beams.
Yeah, and then that draws out like a 10 more or like half.
That's something I don't want to do. I don't want to aliens this.
Okay,
right? Like we very much could. Clearly, day 1 does.
Yeah.
I like one of the things I really like about
part one.
And part 2 tries to still keep it limited, but that we do see a number of them. I like that part 1. It's 3.
It's just 3.
We are given a count really early on. 3 in the area that he knows of, and that number stays consistent.
Okay, then let's maybe take two out in the ice and then 2 out with an avalanche. I think the notion of setting off a bomb that just the whole freaking mountain comes down on these people, and just watching them run as these things are getting buried behind them, like like that's
sure.
That's trailer good.
Yeah. Actually, better than them. Chopping the ice. That's really good tension, because they could always put dynamite to blow the ice to drop them in.
What if? How about? Okay, I think the ice sequence could be our finale. What if the avalanche opens the movie?
So that was another thing I was thinking of. Like, it might not even open the movie. It's going to be the instigating incident. What we see for the intro is actually the people of this community in the summertime seeing the news about these meteors falling, and it's nowhere near them. So that's scary and crazy.
Not our problem.
It's not. Maybe there's someone who says it's not our problem, but like, it would be alarming to see on the news the nearby city getting attacked by
creatures
from space that that they figure out early enough that newspapers are still printed that tell you be quiet.
Right.
So the people out in this country, they know to stay quiet. So they've done things rather quietly, and then time passes, and I think it'd be really cool to catch them in the avalanche though. But what I was gonna say is the avalanche is the instigating incident. It's heard for a huge distance, and that's what draws the handful of them out to this community.
Okay, so perhaps
we don't have to go that way.
No, I like that.
They could already be in the area and they're living like.
I like that we've gotten into the winter. They've managed to survive maybe a couple encounters, and it's all well and good, similar to the first movie. And one appearing, having like our first, we have our opening like fearful sequence, but then our first like action sequence that leads up to the avalanche could be one of these things, or one of the shoe stealing monsters showing up, and
the episode, they don't know why they're called.
Oh, right.
That. Explain that.
The monsters. That's why they came here. That's why all the characters are barefoot. It's because all their shoes got stolen by the shoe stealing monsters. That's all they came here for, folks. Anyway, having one of the monsters show up and a confrontation with someone who foolishly fires a shotgun or some sort of loud noise, and that causes the avalanche that then draws the threat for the rest of the movie.
The threat was already there.
If
there's one,
if it's
that's
just
already a threat.
Okay. So just some mistake then that creates the avalanche. I mean, a mistake is what launches the first movie. At least starts the grief, like the death of the kid in the first one. The avalanche is a great visual. Is the reason I'm trying to find a way to like work it very significantly in the story. If it's not going to be the finale, having it be the opener.
The thing is, as an opener, I feel like that's wasted. I think it'd be so cool to either have the monster cause the avalanche because they make so much noise and they flail around so much, or if a character realizes they're not getting away from this thing as it's barreling across the mountainscape at them, so they start yelling.
Yeah, that's more finale. That's more finale stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe the ice sequence is the middle of the movie?
Now, the thing is, these things are pretty invincible, right? We see it survive fire explosions and stuff like that. There isn't a reason why we couldn't say that in the avalanche it drowns, right? Snow just... Because it's not going to know how to survive an avalanche. It's not going to know to swim with it and keep your head up. And
it's just going to be crushed by the weight of it.
Which way is up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like the person could then get out of the avalanche or be dug out, and then they find the thing, and it's there dead because they see its mouth is just filled, just compacted with snow.
By the way, that was some good surviving avalanche information you just divvied out there real quick.
Yeah, you know.
That's a Boy Scout, folks, right there. I wanted Jim to be acknowledged for his Boy Scoutness.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, coming across the like its arm like flopped out and it's dead because it was crushed by the weight of the avalanche and essentially drowned in it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do
Still drowned in water. It's just frozen.
It's just frozen water. These things hate water of all types.
That means in the next one we have to kill one with steam.
Fuck. I do like the notion of not using sound to defeat them this time. Not to just do the high frequency, which is what rescues our family. Avery's Lee, our main characters in the first and second one. So finding a different way to defeat them that's fun. Like,
yeah. The other notion, and it could be folded into this, is a bomb shelter. People who are well off enough and they see the thing happening and they're like, we have a thing for this. Let's go get in a shelter. And then we can tie this whole thing to Fallout. No.
Okay, that's worth exploring here. Okay, let's try this. Our main town location is a ski resort. Okay. And within the ski resort, which was made in the 50s, 60s, there is there is a bomb shelter. The hotel has been using it for storage essentially, but
Okay.
the school I went to growing up in Wisconsin
Yeah.
had a fallout shelter in it.
Sure.
Like there was a specific hallway we would go to for tornado drills that was fallout ready.
Yeah.
So those,
I remember seeing those
signs
at my school.
Yeah. So having this,
It was weird to me the little I knew about fallout shelters that it was just a hall.
Mhm.
Like
Or-
there wasn't a door to enclose us. It was just, no, this will be okay. And that it like that always seemed to me like, will this be okay?
I kid you not, the doors that were on either side of the fallout area that we'd go to in our school were these giant red metal doors with like latches, or it's like full on thick ass.
I'm thinking of grade school. Perhaps I missed the doors, or perhaps the sign was to an area that we weren't going through at the time.
And they could have removed the doors because fallout was
That's also-
not exactly a
that's also true.
concern
In the
Yeah.
80s? Oh, it was.
But okay, so having a fallout shelter, ski resort, like giving us the location of the mountains near a lake. What do you think of that as a setting for this? With the
Sure.
with the town, like the community that sort of operates only in the winter. Like their peak season is always winter travel. They're not exactly a summer location, so they've been thriving in the winter because that's what they do.
Right, because the world would have ended during the summer.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah.
So now we have an organization of people. It's a community of people that operate this town for ski resorts, and that gives us some like fun location set pieces, like a ski lift.
Yeah.
I think the lake.
We got to get up the mountain. Turn the lift on. I mean, the monsters would just destroy the motors, the engines.
Having them. I'm just. I don't know how to concoct it, but having two people stuck on a ski lift, like dangling over. Like, you've been on a ski lift, right?
I have not actually.
What? Oh man! Wow. Yeah, I've done many a skiing.
The closest is it's called the I believe it's called the People Mover, which is frankly a misnomer because there are other things called People Movers. But Summerfest in Milwaukee
that's it,
has like a gondola, sky gondolas. Two people.
Yeah.
Sitting them, yeah.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Just up a mountain. And sometimes there's points of those ski lifts where you're dangling like 50 feet in the air, 100 feet in the air. Just like, there's no seatbelts on those things.
No.
But just having a sequence of like somehow contriving it so that two people are stuck on a bench of a ski lift trying to be quiet as they're just like.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that because these movies aren't like in the middle of living your life.
Suddenly, they know to be quiet. So maybe that's not something that we could make happen. Do you imagine they're watching the news of the incident, and then we cut forward and it's now winter, or do you see any sort of attack before that jump ahead to winter? Right. So like the reason I say that is because we're just discussing the ski lift and all that. And if it's like, communities preparing for I know it's spring, like autumn's coming or whenever this takes place. And so, just testing the old ski lift. And then in the opening sequence of.
Oh, like we get to meet the town?
Yeah. Before the jump in time. And therefore we could have two people stuck on a ski lift while there's a monster underneath them. Turn off the thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't see that.
Okay.
Being a.
Drop it. I can kill that down. It's fine. But the question remains: they're watching the news, and it's in the big cities far away from them. Do we I hope that doesn't come here. Day 300 or whatever. Like, do we jump ahead in time?
Yeah, that was my thinking.
Great. And now have they had any incidents? Or they just know to be quiet. You did say, like the newspapers, there was enough information out there to like stay quiet. Oh, you know what?
My thought is they know to stay quiet, but they've not had any. My notion is to have a community that has not actually had to deal with this.
Yes, yet. I love it. I think that's great. Like they have survived this long.
Like this is it's terrible, but it's other people's problem, and we're not so short-sighted that we don't think we could be affected, but it's just
It's just not.
it's just has never been a
We've done everything right. We've followed the rules, and we've done everything right.
that kind of thing.
So the problem isn't going to come here.
Yeah.
And so this is they've survived this long, and now what is it? The avalanche is our finale moment, but something draws them. What's going to draw these aliens to a cold place like this? Are they just traveling the landscape?
Sound? No,
yeah.
I don't know. We could do something like cut to a town several miles away, or just the freeway several miles away, and a person very ill prepared for the weather, somehow on a dirt bike.
Oh yeah,
being chased.
Yeah, and so they're basically in their fleeing have drawn these beings towards this
our
area.
community. Yeah.
Okay, so then ditch the motorcycle and crawl up the mountain and literally lead these things.
Oh no! This person gets killed. This person, like they don't even necessarily make it to town. They've just now drawn these things close enough to the town.
Yeah.
That
they're in the area.
Yep.
Okay. We could have two of our main characters.
It could even be, we have characters out chopping wood.
Yep.
And then chop, and they hear, what is that?
What is it?
Right, it's the bike up on the highway.
Mm-hmm. But it's so
and
quiet.
So then we cut back to that. It's so quiet we hear it all that distance, and then we finish that sequence, and then our characters go explore. They go find it. That's how they find out. So then they come back and try to warn everyone, but so they know danger has come.
Mm-hmm.
Danger has come.
Yeah.
To their small town.
I like that. Having the axe in. Let's go investigate what that is, and then going down the mountain, seeing the aftermath of the bike situation. Like, we need to go. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man. Some curiosity. Maybe there was some supplies on the motorcycle. Like, oh, I haven't seen one of these. A Twinkie. Zombieland. A Twinkie. Something that's like, wait, let me just get this. Shh, quiet. I'm just going to get the thing. Enough to... Because we still need to draw our creatures up to our main area.
I mean, they hear so well. They'll get... I basically, I see them being drawn in.
Okay.
Through small things. If anything...
The crunch of their feet on the snow.
Yeah. That could do it.
Oh, yeah.
What we could explore. So the monsters have killed this motorcycle rider. Not too long before, but like minutes before or whatever. And the monsters have since they've rampaged in a circle around this area or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have now kind of laid low.
Yeah. Our two main characters show up.
But the thing is, they follow the rules, but they're complacent over this half year that's gone by. They have showed up on an ATV. Loud, not super loud, right? Not built to be loud, but still loud enough.
Snowmobile.
They, sure, could be a snowmobile. Well, those are actually
pretty loud.
Those are motorcycle loud.
Yeah.
ATVs can be loud too. They show up and they turn it off to investigate, and they see the dead body, and they realize what's happening.
Yeah.
And like one of them's like, we gotta go. And they move to go back to the snowmobile or ATV or whatever. And the other person's like, no. And like in that moment that like the characters are realizing, like the monsters haven't necessarily been creeping the whole time, but that's like, and that's when the characters realize they got to get away from their vehicle because that was the last sound, right?
Yeah. And then like
is my thought.
I like this. And then having them run momentarily, and then like we can't run because our footfalls are so damn loud in the snow. So now having to stand still, as well as if they do have to walk, they have to walk so slow. Like, this is beyond walking barefoot on sticks and leaves.
Yeah.
Like thick snow that's going to go up to your shin.
Yeah.
Like oh my God, the tension, right?
Yeah.
If they can get to say there's a road, like a plat, like a, if it's a resort and they do have some like amenities or whatnot,
Hmm.
and I know this goes into generators and how the hell would they supply this, but having an asphalt road that is clear.
Well, for this particular scenario, I think they wouldn't have a cleared road. Um, why would they? No traffic's coming
I'm
through.
just trying to think of how we get these characters away because they
Sure,
can't run, they can barely walk.
they have to barely walk back to the path that their ATV made.
There we go. Yeah, that's sort of what I was going for. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then they're able to like very carefully get
Hmm.
away, so then they can get back up to
But
the
but
resort.
a little faster, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can get back to their home or the village.
The small
Uh,
town,
yeah,
like the community.
the
Um, so then what we have here, what we've sort of created here, we have created, is a community survival story. Because our first movie is a family of five, one, two,
yeah.
three, four, five, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And our second movie just adds one more character to the no,
No,
five.
sort of for the first half.
Yeah, and then we get to see the island situation.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie's a bit more communal. So there's going to be 15, 20 people here. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be main characters, obviously, but like having the staff and the town. Like, how many people do you imagine are operating in this facility in this town?
I don't know. That's a good question. Too
Uh,
many.
like,
I actually think they get back to town and they try calling a town meeting, and that already, like, people are still going to be too loud,
yeah, quiet.
even with everyone being quiet. Like, they're only going to get a few moments in, and the monsters are going to get to town.
And then we clear out about 50 to 100 people, and then weed it
And
down
then we're down to
to
five.
now we're
No,
down to the dozen
yeah,
survivors.
yeah, something like that.
Okay, great. Oh man. And nice slow build tension, a couple spots there, and
Hmm.
now we've got the monsters in the area. Two or three. Do you want to do three again to homage the first one?
Um, yeah, I'd say 3 to 5. I'd be fine with going up to that,
Okay.
depending on how we want to do things. Because the thing is, okay, so what does our community know? By this point, they know they drown.
Mm-hmm.
They know they can't make noise.
Right.
So what does our community do? They know they have the lake or pond or whatever we want it to be.
Yeah.
With a river if it's feeding it
Mm-hmm.
in some way.
And the lake is frozen.
Yeah.
Got it.
Um, and there can be a pool at the ski resort.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if it. I don't know if it would be emptied in the off season to then be filled for now. I don't know.
I would imagine.
I suppose we can contrive these things. We don't have to go according to how things actually are done.
Oh, the closer to actually, the better. I imagine the pool being empty, because what good would a pool be in the winter anyway? So why would they fill it up?
Sure, at a ski resort that is inactive.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
So are they trying to fill it the whole time?
True.
Basically, it's an opportunity and way for the characters to try to defend themselves and try to drown them out,
Drown
the
a
monsters.
character, yeah.
Because we will see them try. We would see some people try. Guns and axes are not going to work on these things.
Yeah.
In fact, that should probably be shown. We see it. We really only see it the once in part 2, in that when they first attack, and the police officer shoots him with the shotgun,
Yeah.
and it doesn't do
Don't do
anything.
anything. You have to.
So that's the only time we're really shown that the guns do nothing, because every other time guns are used is when the feedback is being done to weaken them.
And they're exposing their faces.
Yeah.
Like once their face opens up and you can get a clear shot at their heads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So having taking guns off the table, which honestly that first one does a really good job of. That gun only comes out at the end.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of just survive by your wits. Don't make a sound. Shh, quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about our grief. No, let's not do that. Let's just be sad at each other. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, perhaps there is a way to at least get one use of a shotgun out of this and take one out, even if just incidentally they don't realize some sort of feedback created the opportunity to get them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, so curiously, the gamer in me sees how they operate with their face, because they do open their faces just to hear.
Yeah.
So if you get a shot in there,
Yeah, like that. That'd be great.
That should do. It won't necessarily kill it, because we see in the second one she shoots, but she doesn't land it square,
Yeah.
and so she just injures it and makes it mad.
So if like imagine a character who's got the shotgun, we've seen it fail already, and they're like frozen. We have a sort of an alien xenomorph moment, right? You get super close to this thing, and our character just slowly moves the tip of the gun like a foot away from them.
Sure.
Is this alien like slowly like listening and turning its head, so the alien's head is turning just as the shotgun is slowly coming up, so that as soon as it's like ear is right there, you get like a turn, blam, and just get that one good shot in its face. Because I'm not alone. You thought of it as well, because you're looking at the mechanics of it, video game logic. You're sitting there like, just put that gun in its mouth and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So having a character actually do that,
Yeah,
and get one of them could be pretty fun. Like,
oh sure. Well, like if that happens, and then immediately the others pounce on them.
yeah,
That's not bad.
then they lose the gun, but at least someone did it. At least they took one out.
I also imagine actually that this is a North American town. Again, I'm still imagining Canada, but Canada has plenty of guns.
Going to be more guns.
Yeah, the town is going to have plenty of guns, and when the shit hits the fan, like in this scenario, lots of guns are going to go off. They're just not going to do anything, and we're going to lose all those guns because all those people are going to die.
Yes. I think we need to have a moment of reprieve, if we're sort of coming, like having a moment to like, okay, we're surviving, and just like bringing out the booze, just be like, if they're in the bar of the resort and they're like popping open beers and wine and just like drink them, smoke them if you got them, and bottoms up.
I feel like we're going to follow more than one group.
Okay.
In this,
yeah,
and that is fine to have whoever closes themselves in the bomb shelter
to just bust out the goods.
They turned it into a storage anyway.
Yeah, it's actually I've been waiting to show you guys. I turned it into a little speakeasy. What do you mean? And then like the door is shut and pulling like a and like lights come up and it's got music playing and it's this like sanctuary, and it's like, yeah, who wants a martini? And like just having like a special, like just a moment of normalcy.
Oh, see, the way you're saying it makes me think you want it to be a fun, good thing. And what I'm thinking in this scenario, I would be so mad at that person.
Okay, go ahead.
Because they've taken this thing, like the reason in a lot of stories where like the rich people have bomb shelters and all the poor people get to die.
Yeah.
That's sort of what this is we've shut out the problem. We're not going to deal with that. That's someone else's problem. We're just going to live like nothing's wrong in here, is what that reminds me of.
Oh, I was going more for like just for a moment, let's just remember what it used to be like. And this bomb shelter has been our storage unit for God knows how long. And the employees all come
6
down.
Months. Sorry.
The bomb shelter has existed for decades.
Oh, yeah.
And this resort has existed for decades, and the employees turned it into their rec room.
Gotcha.
And so when they trap themselves in there for a moment, for a scene, we could just pretend like everything's normal. We're going to play music and have the disco ball spinning. We got a jukebox over there, and bust out the beers, and let's just have a moment where we just forget what's outside that door. I think we're stumbling upon a theme here of it's not our problem. That's over their problem, and eventually that problem came to them. So that basically shutting your eyes, ears, and mouth, and just being like la 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 la. You can only do that for so long.
Sure.
So I just wanted to use it as a sweet moment, like when Krasinski and Emily Blunt dance in the first one. You hate love, Jim.
It just feels the pace like that would have to happen before the monsters attack.
I'm I'm pitching it as something that happens like before the climax of the movie, like that they've been beaten down. They've all like the remaining survivors have converged in the bunker.
Sure.
The,
I guess the way I would imagine that scene going,
mm,
they would get in there, they'd close, they'd turn the lights on, everything's automated. So yeah, the music spins up and all
yeah.
that. And no one's going to enjoy that moment. They're
Right.
all going to be
Yeah.
sitting there shell shocked while the environment was made to be everything's normal.
Yes.
And they're just going to be like,
great.
Death is waiting
Great.
right on the other side of that door.
Yeah, I love that. So I love that. That's
okay.
a great.
It just seemed like you wanted to frame it.
I was.
Okay.
I was pitching that way, but
Okay.
now what you suggested makes me believe, and what you had said a moment ago, at the beginning of the movie when we establish this community, they do go down to that bunker and they drink beers and listen to the music because, hey, it's the one spot we can be normal at. We can.
Mm-hmm.
So then when they go back to it and the music is playing, you're right. They're sitting there shell shocked, and it is not fun. This is grotesque. We're sitting here. Turn that fucking music off. Right? Like
Sure.
I
I actually like the idea of it plays out and no one says anything. Everyone just sits in their own silence, in their own 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. The first time
they
we
let
see
the
it.
music play and all that. But earlier, yeah, okay, I like that. So they turn the bomb shelter into that. Everyone in town basically knows it.
Mhm.
Like literally, there could even be a moment before the motorcycle, before any of that. People are saying, "Hey, come on, finish up. I want to get to happy hour."
Yeah.
That's what they call it. They call it happy hour.
Yeah.
And because the rule is you have to be in because they close the door so none of the sound gets out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not in, you got to wait till tomorrow
You gotta
or
wait till
next
tomorrow.
week or
Or,
whatever.
yeah,
Whatever it is.
once a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it! I missed happy hour this week. Well,
And we get to see them inside having a good time.
Hey, yeah, exactly. And you didn't make it through. You don't. Hey, I made it in time. Let me in. No, you did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You got to go chop wood.
Yeah.
Damn it. Take so and so with you. You two are on chopping duty.
Oh God, no, that would be. Even do a thing where like they have walkie talkies.
Mm-hmm.
So when they close the door at 5 p.m. you're not here.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, come on, come on, let me in. You weren't. It's more of a joke for you weren't here in time. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, just turn the music off a second. Let me in.
Go chop wood.
Yeah.
Damn it.
God. And so then the next time around, it happens. They have to close the door because the monster's coming, and they can't open the door to let someone in.
Yes, great, Colin. That's a great setup to pay back later to have someone be like, let me in, like we can't.
And while the music plays after the door is closed, they just hear over the walkie-talkie a clip as the button gets pressed and unpressed.
Yeah, yep. Ooh, so sad. Then now we have to have a reason for them to leave that.
So like I said, I imagine us following 2 or 3 groups.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one group.
Okay.
So there would be 1 or 2 other groups, I figure, outside, because now the ones that put themselves in the bomb shelter, they're blind.
Right.
This walkie-talkie, unless we start, we make this walkie-talkie thing a bit more central.
Yeah.
Do we have them stumble on the feedback through the walkie-talkies?
Yeah.
I don't know enough about how hearing aids and feedback works to justify all that.
In my experiences, taking 2 walkie-talkies and hitting the call button and putting them next to each other is going to give you
Okay.
So yeah, having them stumble across it, that's not bad. I still do want to kill these things on the ice and in an avalanche, but having
because the feedback doesn't kill them.
Yeah,
it just stuns them and at best drives them away.
I hate your stupid walkie-talkie.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because those batteries are going to die.
Yeah.
So having one group stuck in the bunker, which we can then come back to them at the end of the movie, like the last whatever group gets in there. So then having a group outside,
and to make it a little less fuck you guys for being in there, maybe the group in whatever, maybe it's real early, like after that first attack,
yeah.
Or maybe it's later. The sort of the survivors we have are like, anyone who can get to the bunker now, get to happy hour.
Get to happy hour now. Get to happy hour.
And so that's why they race there. So now we don't necessarily hate the people who've holed up there. We just know that they're the fortunate ones that made it there, but they're gonna still be as shell shocked and not.
and
relieved but not happy.
and having someone inside the bunker and someone outside the bunker have some sort of really tight knit relationship, either familial or romantic or something, so
Sure.
that they're separated by the events that are unfolding around them. What I want to do is let's decide on some like specific main character or characters, like who are going to be our focal point characters here, and then figuring out a way to move these main characters. We have some good like plot elements here, but moving a main character or main characters through this to get to the ice and the avalanche. That's what I want to get to next. Okay. But before we do that, we're gonna take a quick break here. Give us a couple minutes here to sort of cool off because it's hotter than hell in here, and we'll be right back after these quick messages from 6.5 Media. I was a little nervous when you pitched just the ending. I don't know if we've ever started with the ending. I can't. We've done enough episodes now that I can't remember them all. But I don't know if we've ever gone, this is how it's going to end. Now let's right to there.
So, I feel like we've done it at least once.
So
I do know we've had the endings in mind and have gone to them. And then revealed them. But I feel like at least one time, at least once, we had to have said, here's the ending I have in mind.
Well, so the ending you initially pitched was the ice, right?
Initially, and then as I was thinking that and saying that, the avalanche came to mind, and I didn't know which would make a better ending.
And I think we go from one to the next. So like, all right. So I have an idea for I have a couple of main characters I want to pitch, and sort of how to get us from drowning in the ice to the avalanche. But that's sort of what my gears are turning. What do you got?
I was trying to think of a name for this.
Oh, for the quiet place, blah.
Yeah, I was trying to look up to see if there's a word for the silence of winter. It's funny because as I was looking it up, one thing said, because the air density is higher in the winter, sound travel, it's harder for sound to travel. And the next one said because the air density is increased, it's easier for sound to travel.
I think there's just two different people who hear differently.
I mean, both are correct. Certain sounds are very muted in winter, in snow, and then other sounds travel so much further. One site was talking about how the sound, because of it allows the sound to travel along the ground, whatever.
Well, as far as this community is concerned, having some sort of like operational manager, someone who like runs the resort, and having maybe a small town mayor type, and there's going to be this woman and this man and whatnot. Like, but as far as like central characters or point of view characters, I like you had suggested having at least two groups that are surviving this, and I do like that. But here's my pitch. A pair of brothers, an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay.
And the older brother being smarter and wiser, and the younger brother being a little foolhardy. Even having the notion of having this kid be like, I don't want to be here anymore. This can't be my whole life. I want to go out and see the world.
Okay.
So having that little bit of chip on his shoulder of being stuck in a small town, and being part of the family business. And maybe there's even more. Now that I've said that, maybe this is a family operated business, and there's several families that have all been here, and this has been their, there's communities like that. But having an older brother and a younger brother, and having the older brother constantly telling the younger brother to shut up, like, shut up, you talk too much, shut up. Like that's your problem. Like, be quiet, shut up. Like, when they're the two that get stuck chopping wood, like the younger brother's the one who, I don't want to chop wood, and the older brother's like, come on, it's our job, like being a little more level-headed. And they're the ones who see the motorcycle and have to run back to tell the town they're here. But eventually, I don't know if I want to separate them per se, but I want the older brother. My pitch is that the older brother saves the younger brother by breaking the ice and drowning himself and the creature.
Oh.
And then the younger brother saves the day by causing the avalanche because he can't shut up.
Okay. I was going to make an ordinary people, a very dark ordinary people joke.
Okay.
Um,
Well, now you got it.
I don't know how to. I'm not. It's not for a decency that I'm not saying it. It's not coming together.
Can't craft it. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's my pitch. Two brothers. One doesn't want to be there. One has like resigned himself to be like, no, this is our life and it's a good life and you can go see the world some other time, but this is your commitment and hey, shut up. You need to focus. You need to pay attention. You're gonna get us in danger. And then ultimately in the end, the older brother sacrificed himself, much like Krasinski for the first movie, and what Cillian Murphy seems like he's about to do in the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then that the younger brother is the one who ultimately saves the entire community by bringing the mountain down. I hate this mountain. I'm bringing it down. And then having that avalanche kill the monster and seemingly him laying there in that final snow with the last little bits of the avalanche resting, and then like he comes out of he crawls himself out and is just like essentially reborn in a way, and then seeing the monster's dead, like, oh, okay, it's dead, and then being able to go back to the bunker and being like, hey, let me in. Broad strokes, just I'm throwing it out there.
Sure.
It could just as easily be sisters. It could just easily be like
Where's the parents?
The parents could be part of this resort.
Okay.
Like they could be killed in the initial go.
Mm.
So that's like they're already on their own anyway. They could be the product of a single parent because the other one got away. Like mom left and I want to go too.
Mm.
Yeah, mom left because she started a new family. Your family's here. We love you. We'll take care of you. Chip on my shoulder. I'm a teenager. I hate it.
I really like the that shut up bit. Right, plays into the whole quiet place, the sound.
Okay, good, cool.
Yeah. Taking innocuous language and relationship and playing upon that for the overarching theme of the IP.
And then having that last moment of just going, like just finally letting it all out, and then and the whole mountain comes down. Oh shit! Yeah. So there's that's my pitch for who our main characters could be.
I don't know how to get there. Maybe this is too cliche. I'd almost rather the person who brings the mountain down is somebody who doesn't speak up. It's a timid, quiet person. So it's that, and it's because they internalize everything and all the problems and all the things, and so then they're finally letting it out is what causes that avalanche, right? Almost it's almost like what Lee, John Krasinski's character in the first one, he screams to get its attention, and to sacrifice himself for his family, so his family can live. And this person whose family has been destroyed, and they have been terrified and quiet, or burdened upon and quiet, finally unleashes the sound to get the attention, or they already have the attention, but basically weaponizes the screaming to bring the mountain down.
Okay.
On them.
So if we, I like this.
Now that doesn't mean that the brother thing, like I said, I like ensembles. Whoever brings the mountain down doesn't have to be one of the brothers. It could be someone from another family.
Right. Having if our survivors do end up being like this brother combo, this brother duo, and like attaching a second or a third and a fourth to them, so that there's a group of four like surviving together. Someone, and it makes a great joke. If we had a third, someone who doesn't talk, the level-headed brother, and the younger brother who won't shut up. So now you have a good dichotomy of characters, trichotomy of characters, to having a third character who is all but mute, like never says anything, never like. I'll say it, but I don't think it's a good idea. A sister, like if there's actually three siblings, and but that plays way too close to the original to have sister and brother and.
We can go with family.
I'm less inclined. I'm
less inclined because our theming has been more community, and I realize families are a part of a community. They're sort of just an extended community, or a family, or a community is just an extended family sometimes. But trying to do something like, again, I don't mind brothers. It's a good idea. I love that shut up thing. Neighbors comes to mind.
Having
maybe a little more.
I'm gonna still hold on to the brother thing if you'll let me, but I think you're right that having like our timid character. Weirdly, I'm thinking of the Holdovers, Divine Randolph's character, who is clearly bottling up a lot of trauma of losing her son in Vietnam and all that, and then so having a character who is very clearly already traumatized by something else, perhaps. They lost the family in the their family was in New York and
was in town,
and they've been alone this whole time. You're not alone. You're part of this community. It's like, I'm not. My family's dead. Like someone who's without saying it, we can go, oh, that's why they're so quiet, so that if older brother sacrificed himself to save younger brother and this person, and then the younger brother, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then this, I'm picking a woman, but she finally just like, like, whoa, what's wrong? It's like, I miss you. I miss my family. I hate this. I hate, like, just screaming everything she's internalized for this entire movie. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, oh God, we need to run. We need to run. Stop screaming. Run. And then having them both get creamed by the avalanche.
Sure.
And taking out the monster.
The way I see that avalanche scene going, the person that whoever it is that explodes, this is a mutually related. They don't think they're going to survive either.
Yes, yeah.
But they're taking this thing with them.
Yes, I love that.
And they're going to take the whole mountain down.
Yeah.
And so then when they don't dig themselves out of the hole, we'll have some other survivors find them and pull them out. Don't have to go into avalanche survival and how that's so impossible without certain gear. But they dig them out, and then together as a small squad, they find the thing, and it's dead.
Yeah, and having a character like that, the one who screams in the end, like the one who's been bottling it all up, having a moment earlier where after the initial attack where the town is like wiped out, and then having the
it could just be someone who's they could have already been a quiet person, but having their family or whoever they're with die in that initial attack. So that they're not just alone the whole time.
This is what I was gonna suggest, is that this woman, her family died when the meteors landed, and she's been alone ever since. She's you're part of our community, that you're part of our family. Not really. I feel isolated. I've isolated myself because I've lost my family. So then after the town is attacked and people are killed, having another character be like, oh, I can't believe my family's dead. Oh my gosh, whatever, I'm going to, like, bemoaning the circumstances, understandably so, next to this character who's been living with this longer than them, and being like, I wonder what that's like. Not saying it, but like with a look of like,
yeah, we can convey that with visuals and images.
Yeah.
Like in that initial thing where they're watching the news and like, oh my God, someone can just say to her as they're watching, isn't your family there?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And then she doesn't say anything. Just watches.
I mean, hell, if she doesn't say anything until she screams, that's pretty cool.
I don't know if I want to go that far.
But just a woman of
yeah.
few words.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to. Yes, go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
But then to play up the person, oh my God, I've lost everyone.
Yeah.
You didn't lose anyone. I lost. Right, somebody who's just very self-centered, but
they're losing their mind.
Yeah, like, and then just like focus on her and
just watching them complain. Like, yeah. That's a fun character to add to this, and to allow them to be the one who takes down the mountain. Like, I'll die here. I'll die here to like kill one of you because you already took everything from me.
Why would they go up the mountain?
I mean, they don't. I mean, if after the ice break happens and they kill and older brother kills one, if there's or two and there's still two left, and they can't go back across the ice that's just broken, so they have the only direction they can go is away, and that starts leading them up away from the resort and into the
Sure,
mountain.
but that would be a plan. There'd be a plan for that because they can't go on foot. They're not going to outrun these things. They would have to be in a vehicle of some kind, of snowmobile or something like that. So that would have been a plan. So what is this plan? Or even if it's a contingency plan, if the lake doesn't
Sure.
work, we'll go up the like unless
Yeah.
their plan already is because I don't want the avalanche to be a plan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Neither do I. I don't want that to be
yeah.
the plan. That is like the last, like, just happens. Like,
Mhm.
this is what I'm going to do. We can plant the seed for that early in the movie or what have you.
Sure.
But having our shut up younger brother and the woman who unleashes be the last two
Mm-hmm.
fleeing, you're right. There needs to be a reason why they headed this way. If we get across the lake and we go up to the ski lodge, there's a thing there that we can use. So yeah, let's try this. Let's see. If we get to the ski lodge, there's a radio. I don't know. Just to start there, and going across the ice, kill the one, but they still have to flee up to the radio tower or what have you, the ski lodge up there, and then they get there and it doesn't even work or whatever. So he died for nothing, and also the monsters are coming.
So I'm imagining the ski lodge is down. So the way I'm imagining this is the ski lodge, the lake, the town. It's all at the foot. It's all at the foot of the mountain.
Right. I'm just. It
it's
doesn't
okay.
have to be a ski lodge. I was just trying to think of a thing
I'm
midway
thinking,
up the mountain.
I'm thinking there's a ranger station.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
And they're stuck on the other side of the lake, where they're better off trying to make it to the ranger station, where they now know about the feedback thing.
Mm-hmm.
They no longer have another radio they can use. Maybe they have one. Like there's another radio in the ranger station, something like that.
Yeah.
We got to get there to use that.
Yeah. That's simple. Even if it's I love all those ranger stations that's up like a tower.
Oh God. Oh, even worse. Sure. Yeah. Like the a fire, almost like a fire watch.
Yes.
Tower?
Yes.
Sure. Oh shit! Those things would take it down.
Yes, I think so. Then after they get up there to do the radio and it fails. Oh God, he died for nothing. The radio doesn't work, and then they attack the thing and the station comes down. So they crash. Okay. They tumble through the snow. There's the monsters up ahead, and then it's like, what are we gonna do? My brother died for nothing. He told me to shut up, and I never shut up. And then our girl is like, and just brings down the mountain. Like the escalation to go from lake up the hill to the ranger station to the radio not working to the tower coming down to then the avalanche coming down. That's a finale right there.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Nice.
Yeah. And then, yeah, they kill the two,
the final
one or two.
Final one.
Yeah.
Like do a thing that when the ranger station comes down, it was enough force to impale one of them.
Yeah. So one yeah, like and then the avalanche kills the last one.
Even though that shouldn't be possible. They're supposed I don't need to get into those details.
Freaking
I don't need to get into the toughness of these mountains.
Skewer it like a kebab.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the folks who end up hiding in the happy hour. Let's think of a character for that. Is it the leader of the town, leader of the community? Who's our supposed leader? It's clear that the older brother's actually the leader of this gang. Like he's the.
I don't like that. I don't want to make our main character the leader of the survivors. It's I don't want to do a traditional survivor disaster kind of movie where like the sheriff or deputy takes charge or something like that. Like I'm fine with the older brother being in charge of the younger brother and like, okay, guy, like the 2-3 people in my little pod here, I got a plan. I'm fine with that.
Yes.
But he's not the one being all like, and then you go here and everyone get to safety and all that.
I wasn't suggesting that. I wasn't suggesting that.
Okay.
I was not. I saying at their little
Yeah.
pod, he's very clearly capable of leading this group.
Sure.
He's Steve. He's Steve Harrington. In a way.
Yeah.
Right. So who in the bunker is the leader of that survivor group?
The first thing comes to mind is the mayor.
Okay,
I don't want a Jaws. I don't want to do a Jaws mayor.
Uh-huh.
Like, we need to keep the lodge open. like I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't just want to make him a jerk.
Right.
I don't know if I even want to go so far as Slither, where he was fun. He wasn't a Jaws mayor. He wasn't like, we need to keep deer cheer going, but he wasn't exactly the nicest guy. Actually, his flip out about not having a Mr. Pibb was real funny. I don't know if I want to do a hero mayor or not, I think is ultimately what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But if the mayor doesn't take charge,
someone has.
Isn't he sort of a coward mayor?
No.
Then?
I'm going to draw from something that you and I've been rereading. You've been reading for the first time. Having a King Cole type, and then a Snow White who's actually operating this thing. So like the operations manager of the resort, this woman is like the Snow White of the group, is actually the one responsible for like maintaining and keeping this thing operational, and our mayor is just a figurehead. Like, all right, people, calm down. I just need a moment to think. Snow, what do we do? We need to make sure we have enough resources to feed ourselves and water.
That's not bad. Okay.
Having
something like that.
Yeah. Kind of actually looking to another survival group situation, having the tailies versus the lost. You have Jack's group, and then you have the tailies. Just sort of the difference between how they survived. Like the tailies had it way rougher.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, you guys had food and showers, and we were out here digging holes and sticking a guy in there we didn't trust. This guy hasn't talked for a long time because he killed a dude. There should be some level of tension within this survivor group, especially in the bunker, having some sort of a Karen or a Chad who's like,
I feel like this scenario is going to play out fast enough.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Nah.
I didn't want to go there because it's verging into Dawn of the Dead, zombie survival territory. Mm-hmm. And I like the notion that these people, despite their, quibbles, this works. This has worked for almost over a year, like 6 months to 9 months or so. This has worked fine. And they thought they were all good and dandy, and turns out they were deluded to think that they were going to stay out of this fight. Mm-hmm. So let's paint the whole picture. Okay, we open with them seeing day one, but it's not really their problem because that's happening in the big cities. Hey, Divine, isn't your family in?
Or just for whatever reason, this meteor shower, none of them are landing in their region because they're way up there or something.
Yeah. Hey, isn't your family visiting New York or whatever? Yeah, they are. Okay. So establishing this community, it's the summer months or spring or what have you, and they're we're not even in our prime season yet, so it's there's barely anyone here, and let's just pay attention, keep our heads down, pay attention to the news, but we keep operating, everyone, everything's business as usual. I think this is bullshit. Shut up. And then title screen, snow.
Yeah.
And then we see the comings and goings of this group. They know the rules. They've been following it very well. And the system is there. People passing each other, giving each other nods, food, water, shelter. We get to see a community of 50 to 100 people operating.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's this? And doing I'd love to see Krasinski did it really well in the second one where we just followed him through the town. Granted, we just followed him. We didn't meet any of these people.
Yeah. And we don't really have to meet too many of them either. Like
Well,
it
that's
was,
our main character.
it was way schlocky is too mean of a word. But the locals were kind of weirdos. In Slither, we get a similar thing as the sheriff drives through town.
Yeah.
We see everyone getting ready to celebrate Deer Cheer, which is their deer hunting holiday, and we get to meet the locals as we drive past them. And for the most part, they're just people who live there. They're not necessarily characters we'll see. Some of them are characters we'll see again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So establishing this functioning community, however many days later, and then introduce our characters, our main characters. We get to see the brother separate of each other. We see our sad girl, who we now know her family's dead. Oh, she's been really affected by this. Our mayor, the assistant resort manager, what have you, and a few other people that we will use as kills or characters throughout. And then all building up to going to the happy hour for the night. And our younger brother main character doesn't get there in time. And they josh with him over the walkie-talkie, like, you got to chop wood. Wow, no, this is bullshit. And then older brother's there to say, hey, come on, let's go chop some wood. We get to see inside the bunker, and its music is playing. There's still, there is a character who is responsible for tracking all information, paying attention to the ham radio, who has collected our exposition wall. There's at least someone assigned in this town.
Exposition. You want to? That's not bad. Yeah.
Just to show why they've been able to survive, because they were very smart about paying attention to everything that was going out there. Just so they having the rule board up on the if not in happy hour, outside of happy hour, having some wall that says the rules and it's like stay quiet, blah blah blah. Brothers have to go chop wood. They go chop wood. Cut to motorcycle. They hear it's okay. They go investigate. Oh, dead guy. Oh, creatures. Okay, we gotta go. Oh wait, they can hear us. Crunch, crunch, crunch. We have to get back to the path as quietly as possible.
As they destroy their ATV and which leads to destroying other cars that have been abandoned on the highway or something. Yeah.
And then maybe even older brother's smart enough to like throw some things in the distance to hit cars that alarms go off or whatnot. Just create enough so they can get back.
Oh, right. Like one of them turns toward where they're at.
Yeah.
And so they freeze. So he has to take his hatchet or something, or even the full axe he has, and just whip it as hard as he can.
Whip, whip, whip.
Yeah.
Get back on the path. And then they're up the path, doing that sort of like Cillian Murphy and them, to like, get inside. Yeah. It's like, get inside, get to the community, get to the main center, get to the center.
Well, even just, I mean, this is taking a page out of The First Quiet Place. They had their red lights
to
light
turn
system,
on
at emergencies. The town could have something rather than like a klaxon, just a thing that like sets off these
lights.
It doesn't have to be like a full town goes red kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like a few of the whirly lights kind of thing across town, or strobe kind of lights, and then everyone starts kind of wandering out, and they know that means and some people go back inside. But others come to they congregate in to the main area, and there is a low murmur, and that so I'd almost want to build. So these movies have been great. They've built so much great tension with silence, and I would want to do that at certain spots. I'd almost want to build a tension with the sound here.
Yeah, like coming in super quiet.
People are quiet, but there's enough murmur.
Slowly get it a little louder, a little louder, a little louder,
and people we need to be quiet. Like everyone,
think of any school assembly you grew up going to,
yeah.
like where the murmur is quiet, a whisper, and then the whisper. Like having a scene play out in real time, where everyone's being super quiet, but then everyone's talking all over each other, and you can as an audience member watching a scene slowly get louder when you know the clock is down. It's like, oh my god, they're being too loud.
How do you right? And then the person that's a little too far back and the thing, he does the yell shout. How do you know what you saw? Why should we be?
And it's like louder, and then that would be awesome. That's fun right there. As far as like a loud, like slowly, loudly building tension quietly to get to loud, and then they didn't get quiet.
Did they follow you? Do you know?
And then there they are, and then the attack begins, and blood is drawn.
Oh, actually, what do you think about this for the murmur, and then they hear one of the monsters at like whatever edge of town, some other sound was made, or just they jump on a building and everyone just like a momentary gasp and
Yeah.
everyone's silent as they turn and see it as it does the click thing around, and everyone's terrified. One person runs and it pounces on them, and that sends everyone
sets
into
it off.
Yeah.
Oh God! And then it's just like we tear through these people, leaving our handful of survivors. Do they immediately flee to happy hour?
No.
Or do we see them kind of separate?
So I believe with this.
Yeah, this is
the end of Act 1.
Yes, I agree.
And Act 2 begins, and like I said, I'd want to see. I was thinking 3 groups.
Mm-hmm.
3 is probably good. I could even see 4 or 5 of people we don't even necessarily know the names of as they try to hole up in a place.
Don't know anybody's name in the first one.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I have this idea in my head. It requires more than one person to know Morse code, and I forget when we were discussing. Nobody knows Morse code
during Quiet Place Part 1.
Yeah.
Ham radio operators and the Western Union employees.
Like 2 of the groups, like get up to or get into a building and they can see each other, and they see like the monsters going across this, like the road or whatever, and they're like and so they start flashing Morse code at each other.
Yeah.
And one group is saying we're gonna go here to do this. I don't know if now would the plan to go to the lake. It's probably already too soon. We gotta fill this out for another 30 minutes at least. But they're messaging to each other.
Having 4 or possibly 5 groups of survivors, and each of them having their own plan, fail one by one, so that it comes down to 2 groups, which is what will ultimately end up in the bunker, and our brothers and repressed character, the woman who will unleash hell. But having 5 groups, and like I like that, like having 2 different clicking back and forth with flashlights to try to communicate. That's 2 groups right there with 2 different plans. I think of Dead Set. Did you ever watch Dead Set?
No.
It's Charlie Brooker's series.
Still on my list.
Yeah, it's his series before he did Black Mirror. It's really great. It's a zombie survival movie.
Mm-hmm.
But even if anyone listening, if you haven't seen it, you could just watch that first episode, because I think it's 5. You can just watch the first episode and it works as a film. Like you can just stop after the first one if you want, because it's got a great arc setting up the characters and but it does a good job of giving you several different points of view of survival, because everyone's scattered.
Yeah.
So we could have one of our survivors just be one lone person.
Sure.
Like
I know you said down to 2. I wouldn't want it to go all the way down to 2. Just because I feel like the people in the bunker, they're sad. They're safe in the bunker, but they're going to be sad that like everyone is out there to die. I feel like we still maintain stakes if there's 1 or even 2 groups of people in town still at risk.
Yeah.
That's why our group wants to go out to the lake to rather than just that's what they're trying to do. That's who they're trying to save at this point, because the people in the bunker technically safe.
They're fine once we can get them in there, and having the walkie-talkie moment of like, let me out, let me in, we can't the door's shut, please stop talking, you're in danger, stop talking, let me in, oh God. Witnessing that, like if that's where the feedback moment happens with the walkie-talkie, if like that's where we see the feedback and like, oh, the feedback worked, okay, that could be a clue into we need another radio. Well,
maybe I don't know if I like it there.
Okay.
Actually, it'd be really it might if we build it right and we showcase the characters right.
Mm-hmm.
That person dying over the walkie-talkie, we don't see them die. We just see the people hearing them die.
Yeah.
So we get to see. Initially, I was just thinking the people in happy hour hear it. But if we also because if one or two of the other groups also have the walkie-talkies, one like just turns it off.
Yeah.
Another one just like everyone's huddled around it listening quiet.
Yeah.
And maybe one group it alerts a monster.
Yeah.
But ultimately, okay, so where we're at now, at that point, if the happy hour people get into happy hour that early, like it's straight from that first attack into there.
I don't. Go ahead.
No?
I'll let you finish. Go ahead. If you think that's the way to go, I don't think so. But go ahead.
No, probably not.
I think there should be another attack point. So, like, what would be moving us from 2 into 3?
Sure.
Would be event like after the scattering of the attack at the community center.
Mm-hmm.
That separates us into 5, 6 groups, whatever.
Yep.
Everyone's spread out, and then the notion of if we get to the one place we can go is the bunker, that's the destination for several people. Now we have survivor groups trying to get there, and they're getting picked off piece by piece. We see, basically, we can have what a script would call fun and games.
Sure. Yeah.
Where we get
exactly.
where we get to see this and this and this and this, and it all builds up to getting into the bunker, which they are now safe for the third act.
Yeah.
So like this whole second act section is different survivor methods and taking out characters.
Yes, but another part of the second act. So this is almost going to be 5 acts.
That's cool.
Now that after the fun and games and getting into happy hour, the new problem arises. The 3 to 5 monsters are now spread across town. How do they? Our characters, at least the ones who want to try to stop them, need to recollect them somewhere, right? So there's at least one monster now stalking through the ski lodge.
Yeah.
There's one on the streets. There's one or two in the buildings still stalking survivors, right? So that now they're spread across our small town.
Yeah.
Here. So,
and we can do that during Act 2.
Sure. What I'm saying is that's now the next.
The next obstacle.
Right. So everyone separates. They have a moment to collect their thoughts, sort of, and like it's going to be so slow to communicate through flashlight Morse code. But I imagine ultimately one of them like has some sort of like high beam type flashlight or almost like spotlight. They just shine it on the ski lodge.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, happy hour.
Yeah.
And so that's when we get our fun and games scramble of like 3 or 4 groups, like one or two groups even says something like, no, that's going to be a madhouse. They're like that. They're gonna get each other killed. And so maybe
we're not going.
Some don't go.
Yeah.
And then they get in there, right? And then I'm just repeating at this, but those are sort of the beats of that. So now one group is safe. One larger group is safe in happy hour. The monsters are spread out. Our survivors have thinned.
They hear a group die over the walkie. If not one,
that's the end of the happy hour bit.
Yeah. But
you're saying hearing more people die?
No. The get to the happy hour. Okay, that's gonna be a madhouse. We can't go there. Characters try to get there, picked off.
Yep.
They get in there. They get in. They lock the door, and then someone dies.
Yeah.
And the remainder hear through the walkie-talkie, listening to that guy die. And it's like, well, now what?
Yeah. That's what that's the beats I was trying to find.
Okay.
So now what is, we got to get these things out of our town.
Right.
How do we do that? Well, we know they drown.
Mm-hmm.
What if we get them in the lake? What if we get them to the lake? The lake's frozen. Good point.
Yeah.
How do we unfreeze the lake?
Remember at the beginning of the movie when we were digging holes for ice fishing?
I do remember that.
Yeah. We should do more of that. in the after the person is killed over the walkie-talkie, having a moment where two of the groups who have the walkie-talkies get close enough to each other that the feedback occurs. Having that moment there, like
wait, I'm wait, where'd you want that?
when we hear the guy get killed over the radio, you had
Yeah.
suggested that one of the radios is too loud and it draws one of the
Yeah.
aliens. That could be the moment where we get that feedback shotgun moment.
Maybe. It probably needs to come earlier for whatever reason. I'm
Sorry,
feeling like
that's two different ideas actually. That whatever.
I'm feeling like the learning the feedback. I don't want to put it too soon, but also I don't know where to put it, so I don't have a good reason to say no to it happening there.
Yeah, I'm less interested in the feedback moment because you're right. The walkie-talkies could create it. I don't know where to put that either, but I do like the idea of slowly raising the shotgun to that thing's ear and killing one of these things that way.
Oh, I imagine that in the first attack.
Oh, okay.
Right, like in that panic, and one of the monsters has jumped like right into the middle of the group of people. Everyone spreads, and one person is standing there, right, like the monster slashing right, slashing left, and right in front, and then like it takes a moment, having killed a bunch of people, and it's like, and
yeah. Okay, cool. Having the feedback moment, I don't exactly know how to do that, but
although I feel like now I described it different than we described it earlier.
It's all right. The idea of getting a shot off in one of these things' ears is the goal.
Yeah.
However we play that out, tense, slow, do it, bang, dead. But the idea of let's drown them in the lake. However, hold that thought. The avalanche was an accident. Is just an accident or like luck.
Yep.
But the ice, getting them to drown the ice, that's a plan. Getting to the ranger station for the radio is why they chose the radio station after the older brother dies in the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they need to learn about the feedback.
They need to know about the feedback
before that.
Yes. Yeah. So, after happy hour lockdown, character dies over the radio. Radio from one of the other characters draws one of the monsters, having the feedback moment happen. There.
Sure. Yeah. Something. The feedback moment there, and so then the other survivor groups, or at least our main our brother group sees that.
Yes.
And so they see it like gets stunned by the feedback. So then they pick that up, but the group that it happened to, maybe they panicked and they're not able to take advantage of it, and they get killed.
So then we have, plan is we can drown them in the ice. How do we drown them in the ice? We drown them with noise. How do we weaken them enough to make them fall in the ice? 2 walkie-talkies. So let's get out on the ice. Let's chop it up enough. Let's draw them out to us. We can weaken them with a yow, and then break the ice and they go through. That's at least the plan.
Mm-hmm.
But the plan is going to have to go south, where the brother is going to have to sacrifice himself, and he's going to drown with one of the radios. So now they have a radio, and they need to create feedback. Let's go to the ranger station.
Yeah.
So then our younger brother and our young woman who lost her family, they're the two that rush up to the ranger station. And then we kind of have how that plays out after there.
Sure.
I think the only little detail then is, what is it about the brother? Like, why does the brother ultimately need to sacrifice himself there? Like, it's chopping the ice. He shoves his younger brother away. Like, what is there? Is it? I mean, we don't have to necessarily beat this out right now, but what are the circumstances that lead to that ultimate sacrifice? I gotta stop saying ultimate. I've said too many times now I'm annoyed by it. But what leads
ultimate sacrifice?
Why does he have to do that in the end? Like, it's something's got to go slightly wrong with the plan that requires him to go. This is the only way this is going to work.
My first thought is they're just not able to break the ice enough. The weight of these things isn't enough, so he has to. I don't know what kind of construction tools they would have there. I don't know if they're like, why would there be a backhoe on the ice? or even a truck's cannon would be out there because of ice fishing.
Oh, he could drive at them, like say the ice has been broken, and he either snowmobiles it or drives the truck towards it to like break the ice and go down with the ship, kind of thing. Like,
Okay.
where are you going? It's the only way the ice is gonna break. It's too thick. This the weight of the truck will break it, but you're gonna die. Just survive. I love
Yeah.
you. So then he literally drives.
No. The last thing he says is "Shut up."
And then he just hits the thing with the truck as the ice shatters, and he drives the thing into the ice and goes down with the truck as the ice breaks all around him, and the little brother has to watch his older brother go down. No.
Okay. So I'm thinking four monsters total.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The one who does it die to the shotgun blast?
Yeah.
Or is it just injured?
I say take that whole thing out. He got it in his ear. It's the one clean shot. Because they have the protective. They have the protective.
Sure, but I did like in Quiet Place 2, they showed us when it's not a clean shot, they can still survive. So it's not just anything will kill them. It has to be a.
Well, having that thing 2 centimeters from its eardrum and pulling the trigger.
Yeah, fair enough.
So 1.
1, and then 2 will get drowned, and then 1 chases him up the mountain.
Do you want to do 2 chase him up the mountain, 1 gets killed by the ranger station, the last one gets killed by the avalanche?
How does he get killed by the ranger station?
Well, like when they shatter it, the piece of it's just a piece of wood.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Skewers
it. I forgot about the I forgot. Yes.
So 5.
So 5.
Okay, and then our girl gets to unleash her fury, and the younger brother grabs her just in a nick of time to essentially protect her from the avalanche in a way, but then they're dug out, and the thing is dead.
I think she screams to save the kid. Like the kid's on some sort of rock outcropping or something.
Okay. Damn, 2 people sacrificed themselves for this kid. Oof, that's going to give him a complex.
But one of them doesn't die.
That's true. Well, 50-50, not bad.
Or they can survive together, I guess. I feel like the kid wouldn't. I think the kid should be saved. Now I realize that is that turning him too much into a damsel?
I like the notion of them both getting creamed by the avalanche, but both getting to crawl out of it. Bah, the hand, it's silent. The avalanche.
You really want to do the hand thing?
Yeah, just like crawling out and then pulling her out with him. Because she was ready to die. Like, she's ready to make this. And then and like the avalanche creams him, and then silence. And then he's fine. And then, and he drags her out as well. And she's survived as well.
Okay.
And then they killed the things and go back to happy hour and get a drink.
Yep.
The end.
Yep.
I mean, these movies end pretty abruptly, so I don't even know if we need to go back to the happy hour.
We do. We see them open it back up, even if it's like a small denouement montage.
Yeah.
Of the town coming back out to see the aftermath, and to we get to see them having now gone through the fire.
Yeah.
They are the thing they thought wasn't going to ever actually show up did.
How about
they have had their arc.
Avalanches happened. Silence. The bunker opens. They come out. They see the town has been creamed. Silence. And we get to see the happy hour folk. Like, it's over. And then we get to see these, and they're not even near each other. That's up in the mountains. Happy hour's down in the town. We see them come out of the snow, and then he pulls her out, lays her down, and they look at each other, and then you cut to credits. Just thinking of the way these two have ended before, where they're very abrupt in like chunk end of movie, radio end of movie, having the End of movie. I'm splitting hairs. They could just as easily go down and
I'm
knock
sure
out the bunker.
it's fun. Yes.
Okay.
However it ends on one or more of those beats.
Great. I think we have a movie.
I think so.
Cool. All right, Ashley, how do we do? Listeners, how did we do? I go ahead and I'm trying to think, like, there's certainly other characters to flesh out here or whatnot, but I think as far as plot is concerned, main characters are a couple of those important main characters are concerned. I do feel like we have enough here to, like, we've made our pitch.
Yeah.
With a lot of details. We've beat out the entire movie, more so than previous movies. Our Act 2's loose again.
Yeah, it is.
But hey, what's better than the beginning and the end?
I came across this description, I think last week.
Mm-hmm.
I described a movie as a reverse sandwich.
Yes, you did.
It's right, because the meat is what's important to a sandwich, and in a movie, your beginning and your ending. In the middle, you can have a little bit of bread.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
But you need to start and end good.
It's reverse sandwich.
Yep.
But what do you think, Ashley? How did we do? What did you think? You agree, disagree? We'd love to know how we did, and those listening, what did we miss? What do you want to add to this? What is your idea for a Quiet Place film? You can let us know. You can message us directly at studiodemandsit.com or on Instagram at studiodemandsit. If you're not already, you can subscribe to us on any podcatcher of your choice, and if you feel like giving us a little review, you can help us out in the algorithm by doing that right in app. You can also find us on YouTube, TikTok, where we post video content not included on this show and material that you can get over at the Patreon. But before I talk about that, Jim?
You can also find us on Reddit at r/studiodemandsit, as well as Discord. The invitation to our Discord page is on the studiodemandsit.com website, right there at the top.
Right there at the top. But yes, Patreon, for a couple bucks a month, you can get episodes early as well as extended double-length episodes. We had a nice little surviving the apocalypse conversation before we started this episode today. You can get movie commentary tracks. Those highlights are what we make our TikToks out of. But if you want the whole commentary track and just sit with us as we talk through a movie, join us.
Or sit silently. You won't know until you check it out.
Yeah. Sometimes we just sit and watch the movie. We can't help ourselves. Yep. But also, you can go over to Patreon and just subscribe for free. And that is also helpful for us. So massive thank you to 6.5 Media for everything they do for us. Please check out the other 6.5 shows if you're interested in such things. Jim, anything else?
So this whole time, one of the movies I kept thinking of as sort of like one of the similar sketch lookbook kind of things was the vampire movie in Alaska.
30 Days a Night.
Yeah, 30 Days a Night.
Yes, totally.
Very much has a cribbing things. That was way more like that community. They didn't necessarily like each other, whereas I see this community being very together.
Yes, yeah. Which is consistent with what the movies have given us.
Yeah.
Despite showing us some kind of the shitty people out there, we've seen a family unit, we've seen that island. Like there's a cohesive collective in these films. So yeah, having our group be, we don't want the Slither Town. We don't want the 30 Days of Night Town.
Yeah.
This is the good place.
Yeah.
But yes, that's it for this episode. We'll be back again soon with another one of your demands to challenge ourselves to improve the world of cinema. I'm TC.
I'm Jim.
Stay safe. Be kind to yourself and others. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.